has been a great marriage there with D'Antoni's system and Harden's ability. But why haven't we seen this before? Why haven't other coaches in the past put that into the offense or had Harden play the point?
I think they did. I think it's a little bit of a misnomer to say, well, he's completely different now than he was as far as his role. When you watched Kevin McHale and them 2 years ago, it was the James Harden show then also. But because he's not a specific point guard, and he's obviously not going to be able to guard point guards, there was always sort of a feeling like, well, maybe he should be a little bit off the ball. So you bring in a guy like Ty Lawson. You have somebody like Howard. It's rare that you see a team kind of build its entire roster. We always say that, right? We're going to build around this player. But I think it's rare that teams really commit to that and build their whole roster around one player and one system. And D'Antoni talked about that also. When you go back through his career, it's like when he came to that Laker job, that looked like a great job from the outside. I mean, they had Gasol, they had Howard, Nash was hurt, but they had Nash, they had Kobe Bryant, Metta World Peace. But those pieces didn't fit that D'Antoni system. They didn't fit what he wanted to do. And I think Houston kind of shows you that when you have the right star in the right system, when everyone's on the same page, you can probably be better than the sum of your parts, whereas last year, that team was clearly worse than the sum of its parts.
Yeah, you write about how this offense and the marriage here with D'Antoni has helped James Harden certainly become an MVP-type player. What about for D'Antoni? And you discuss some of the maybe loss of confidence because we saw what this offense can do at its peak with Steve Nash winning back-to-back NBA MVPs. And you discussed how maybe he had lost some confidence and questioned his abilities. What has this done for him as well as his reputation?
The league is totally caught up to D'Antoni, and I think he probably felt like a guy who had some answers that people were slow to accept. I mean, there was a lot of questioning. Even when he was at Phoenix, can that kind of system ever win a championship? Can it ever break through? And he started to question that himself in the mid to late 2000s. Then, of course, he goes to the Knicks. It fails. He goes to the Lakers. It fails again. I think there was a feeling like this is over. Like, I tried it, and it didn't work, and he was going to just sort of embark on retirement. And then you see the Warriors start to do what they did. And the Warriors aren't an exact replica of the Suns or anything like that, but they do some similar things. And they obviously play small, and they play fast, and they throw up a ton of three-pointers. And I think their success sort of brought the mainstream fans over more to D'Antoni's side. And I shouldn't even say mainstream fans, but just decision makers who maybe didn't have quite the same analytical bent. I think the analytics guys and some of those more high-minded NBA thinkers always really appreciated D'Antoni's style and always saw the ways that it was helping change basketball. I mean, you watch like Stan Van Gundy's Orlando teams with Howard, oddly enough. They all sort of utilize that spread pick and roll, space to floor style. So the NBA, I think D'Antoni in some ways was a little bit ahead of his time. The NBA caught up to him, and he found a player who really likes to play that way, not because the analytics tell him, but just intuitively. Harden's so smart. Intuitively, I think he knows that is the most efficient way to play.